April 26th is Power of Econ Day. Stay tuned at the end of this podcast to find out about the free, engaging financial literacy resources for Power of Econ Day, brought to you by Econ Essentials and Discovery Education. Open Badges in Elementary School, episode 292.
The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today.
So today we're talking with Amy Cooper, who's in an elementary school in Minnesota. Amy, you're working with digital badges or open badges in elementary school. Help us understand, what are open badges and how does this work with elementary kids?
So a digital badge is a visual representation such as you would see with a Girl or Boy Scout badge, except it carries metadata with it. So you would see who issued the badge, the date the badge was achieved, artifacts related to the badge that might be a student's visual representation, voice interaction, the student could talk about their achievements, or pictures to show a hard or soft skill learned in school.
So how do they earn these badges?
Badges can be earned as a complement to what's currently happening in the classroom or to replace grading. So there are a variety of ways to use badges in the classroom, but my research focuses on how badges can be used to attain foundational skills, such as that in reading, and how the badges can move the students forward intrinsically. So the teacher will look at the goals or standards they have for their state or their school, and they'll partner with the student to see where the student is and where they'd like to go, and then the teacher uses the badges according to where the student is. Let's say in kindergarten, the student was trying to earn letter sounds. So the student and the teacher would meet and work to gain the skills on the letter sounds, and then the student could show their knowledge with that metadata that's attached to the badge. So it really serves as a very motivating, transparent goal path. The student is able to see what they've achieved, what they've mastered, and where they're going and what they'd like to achieve.
So I guess the part that intrigues me, of course, extrinsic motivation is motivation that comes from outside of you, and intrinsic is the holy grail of motivation because that comes within us. But a badge is obviously an extrinsic award. It's something that they are given by someone else. Are you saying that if you use badges for a while, eventually they can go away and they're more motivated to still read even when the badges go away, or not?
Yeah. Well, we look at badges from kind of the seminal work of Dweck and people like Vygotsky and Piaget, and how we look at learning. We look at badges as not just a sticker or a representation of something. It's more of how can we use the badges to scaffold learning, to have the students self-regulate their learning and self-gauge where they are, where they need to go, and what they'd like to learn. And so the badge kind of helps push that in and implement that continuum of learning for the student.
Okay, so it's helping them learn, but are you noticing a change in intrinsic motivation as a result?
Yes, we're noticing that the students are saying, oh, this is my goal. This is what I want to go after. I want to learn. Students will explain, I want to level up. I want to move to the next level. They're able to just get a grasp on that, rather than your typical grading and assessments that happens where the teacher says, well, you need to get here. Well, the student is able to say, I'm here, and now I want to reach this goal. So that does become what we've seen is very intrinsically motivating for the student.
So they're choosing the different goal they want to meet next out of, say, 20 or 30 opportunities to level up.
Yes.
So give me an example of what they might choose. Okay, I've got the letter A badge and now I want the letter B badge. Is that kind of what they're doing?
Well, they might go for a greater goal, or they might say, well, now I know these sight words. I would like to be able to read this book, or they're choosing specific letter sounds, or maybe for them that doesn't feel right now, and they want perhaps they could just go for a cooperating with their peers badge if that's where they're at. And how can they use cooperation or different aspects to pull that into reading? So it's kind of more of a holistic view, but taking whatever it is that they are working on or feel strong about to reach those foundational skills.
So what tool are you using to assign and track the award?
Credly online creates an option to create badges and attach all of the data to those badges that they're earning. So a teacher can easily say, this is your letter sound badge. Along with that, here's a picture of the student was working on this specific task, or the student wanted to show their learning through video enhancement, or maybe it is some type of a graphic organizer or a picture they want to display on there. But that can all be created through programs like Credly or Mozilla. There's a number of free programs online that teachers are able to access to do that.
Okay, so you're tracking on Credly. Can you think of, Amy, an example of a student, of course, no names, that this has really changed and improved their ability to read?
I have one student in particular that struggled with comprehending in second grade nonfiction texts. So it wasn't very motivating to the student. So we began pulling in. I said, well, is there a specific badge that you would like to use based on a fictional character, because that's the genre that you're really interested in right now? And so the character was based on a series of bears. Well, at one point we said, well, is there any part of this where you want to earn a badge on top of the fiction books and create a nonfiction meaning? And so the child began making that selection and was able to really strengthen their area in nonfiction reading because they wanted to move to that next level. They had mastered fictional reading opportunities and wanted to move to the nonfiction.
Amy, if a school or a teacher is looking at using badges, how do they start?
They might start by just saying, this is one skill I'd love for my students to master, and I'm going to focus on this one specific skill, whatever that might be. And then they could go on Credly. It's a free sign up, and you would go in there and say, okay, we're working on this skill. The students would, let's say you're doing an animal project, would choose a specific animal or area the student is interested in, and the teacher could begin creating badges that meet each student's specific need for an animal project or whatever skill of mastery or opportunity they feel they would like to open up for their class.
Amy, are there any resources that will help a teacher kind of understand the 1, 2, 3s of getting started?
Mozilla has a great amount of resources on there, and you can even just do a Google search and put open badging and Mozilla, and it will bring up how to start issuing a badge, how earners receive a badge. Mozilla takes the teacher through a very sequential process of how to go about starting the badge process.
Excellent. And we'll put those in the show notes. So teachers, open badges and using badges in the classroom are something that a lot of teachers are really getting some interesting and awesome results with. You need to take a look at some of the best practices that are out there. It has been around for a little while of the right way to do this. And Amy, thank you for sharing with us. We will include some information in the show notes so that our listeners can learn more. Thanks. On April 26th, celebrate Power of Econ on Twitter with Discovery Education, CME Group, and their Econ Essentials program. We'll have free resources available for downloading. To join the celebration, tune into the Twitter chat with me, fellow teachers, and the CME Group's chief economist on April 26th at noon Eastern Time using hashtag Power of Econ. Visit coolcatteacher.com/econ for more information. And remember, tweet out your pics on April 26th about how you teach your students financial literacy using hashtag Power of Econ.
Thank you for listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. You can download the show notes and see the archive at coolcatteacher.com/podcast. Never stop learning.